welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, Sam Quiche. Co-hosting with me today, Cheryl Texera in the house. Almost messed up your last name again. As always, Jordan Bauerbank. How you doing, man?
Doing fucking fantastic.
Great,
Yeah.
great. What are we? Are we streaming today?
We are live streaming for the very first time, aside from Perisocope. We are on streamup.com. So now, if you ever want to watch us, we'll be promoting all of the new episodes.
Absolutely.
And letting you know ahead of time. You get to see multiple episodes that are going to come out almost 2 to 3 weeks in advance. So
that is awesome.
Super excited.
That is
so cool.
amazing
Yeah.
for our subscribers and listeners and viewers.
Think of it like your Saturday free acting class.
Boom.
Oh, snap.
Boom. In your face, actors. I don't know why it was like so aggressive like that.
Just lost our audience.
Yeah.
With us today in the studio is a good friend, a good colleague, a great actor, Jesse Kove from The Last Race, As Night Comes, and from the first ever sitcom on Periscope, Steve the Intern, my fellow co-star on the show. Jesse, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys, man. So glad to be here.
Oh my gosh. I've been wanting you on here for years.
Oh, yeah, I know. We've known each other for like 3 weeks, and for years, me too, man.
It's weird.
Totally.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Before we start, I saw you comment on my Instagram on my, what was it? The Voldemort video that I did.
Yeah.
And that moment, that Voldemort, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen the end of Harry Potter yet, it is like the culmination of 7 episodes. Have you seen it, Cheryl?
No.
Okay. I'm going to ruin Harry Potter for you.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Do you want to see it or?
You, ruin it.
It won't ruin anything.
I'm too late. To
You're
the
too late.
party.
It's fine. So, it's the culmination of 7 movies, and Voldemort has Harry's like one of his best friends, and he's waiting for Harry to come to the forest. What's so funny, Nicole? Wait, Nicole is laughing.
It sounded
Okay.
like you said Harry.
Oh, Harry Forrest?
No, Harry's best friend.
Oh, Harry's best friend. Oh, what was it?
Harry.
Harry.
No. You did get it right. Just
Oh my
failed. I'll be back in a month, guys.
Anyway,
This is important, okay?
here we go. It's the setup. Harry's best friend is captured by Voldemort, and Voldemort's waiting there in the forest, waiting for Harry to come, and it looks like he's not going to show up. And Voldemort is like so upset, so like depressed. And then he's like he just turns away from camera, and then we hear footsteps. We hear footsteps in the forest. And Voldemort turns around, and there's Harry Potter. He's been waiting to get face to face with this guy. And the look in his eyes, Voldemort, is like happiness. Like he's gonna kill this little kid. You know what I mean? He's gonna kill this dude. And he just goes, "Oh, Vada Kedavra!" Like his voice breaks in the middle of this spell and like totally kills Harry. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite moments in cinematic history.
That's probably one of mine, too.
Yeah.
I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and I'm actually probably going to cry when the Universal Harry Potter world opens.
My friend was there last night.
Oh.
Was
Have
it
you
really?
been
There was a
Orlando?
soft opening.
Oh, really?
You gotta get in on that.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show today, not only because you're an awesome actor and you're awesome to be around, but you told me about this film that you got made, As Night Comes, and that whole process. And
Yeah.
you basically started off from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the beginning phases of getting this film made?
So, Richard Zelniker, who is the writer, director, and producer, he co-wrote this story with Ryan Cohen, who's a friend of mine, and basically he took him under his wing. Ryan had this story, and then him and Richard sat down for a while. And I'm literally driving. We tried to get funding for it, and there was just such a long, arduous process to that.
Right.
And I'm literally driving on Hollywood Boulevard one day, and then Richard calls me, and he's like, "Wait, can we curse on this, by the way?"
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Richard calls me. He calls me, and he's just like, "You know what, Jesse? Fuck it. We're gonna go make this movie ourselves." And I was like, "Okay, great." I was like, "Let's just do it." Okay, I'm following along, and he's incredible that way. And so we basically started shooting the movie with no money. We told all of the actors, on board what was going to happen, and they totally agreed to it.
Yeah.
They loved the script so much and what it was dealing with. And one of our producers Mark Mantrek, he owns Red Cameras and he's a cinematographer, and he came on board, and we just started shooting the film with basically no money, and then we started shopping that footage around that we shot, and we made a trailer with that, and then finally we got took it to some independent private investors, and they're just like, wow, what do you need to finish? And we're like, here you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was an amazing experience. You can check it out. It's As Night Comes, and we have Mike Olivier, Luke Baines, and it deals with drama in like high school, bullying, all that kind of stuff, like what happens to kids these days in high school, like the pressure, and also deals with like the parenting of kids, what happens to kids if the parents are kind of absent, and how they lash out and all that stuff. It's a pretty awesome movie.
The lead actor I saw I think the trailer you showed me for the film, very like Lost Boys-ish kind of guy. It's not a vampire film. Let me just get that clear. Yeah. No, but his persona, I was like, oh, this is like he looks like one of the modern day Lost Boys from the 80s vampire film.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Luke Baines. Yeah, he's actually Australian, and he has kind of like a really amazing like Benedict Cumberbatch kind of look to him, and he's an incredible actor. I was very, very fortunate to have him. Did
you sit in on the meeting with these investors?
It was.
Or is that more the other producers?
It was kind of it went back and forth. Yeah, we were all a part of it. I mean, it went back and forth for a little bit of time, but we got it finalized, and eventually it was just kind of okay, let's do this. And yeah, I ended up delivering checks to attorney in Beverly Hills, and yeah, it was great.
That's amazing.
It's because there's no I feel there's no classes almost on how to sit in with an investor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And pitch your film. I think you just kind of do it. You maybe believe in your product so much.
That's like the same thing I would say about filmmaking. Like, if you ever I went to school for 4 years for film, and like when you come out of it, you're like, the only thing I really learned was the more you do film and the more you fuck up doing film, the better you get at it. I feel like the more you just like botch something and like just go home, it's like an audition though. Like after a while, I assume like you would probably just audition, be like, those are all the things I've done wrong, and now I've fixed all of those, and you feel a lot more comfortable after the first few.
Yeah.
But it is intimidating when money's involved.
That's very intimidating, especially when you're dealing with thousands and then hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, here, let's route that to your checking account, and then you're just sitting.
Yeah. I mean, you have to make your investors, you have to make them happy and make sure that, they were doing the right thing by investing in what you're doing, and to make sure they get their money back.
Absolutely. There is a revelation that I came to have somewhat recently, but when you said you just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again, something happens, and I don't know where along that process it happens, but you start knowing what's good and what's not good, and when you're pitching something or whenever you're enacting in a scene, or for instance, whenever you're in an audition and you leave going, that was good, but it wasn't great. Or, man, everything was just on. Or, that was horrible. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just, I don't know what happens along the way. You stop lying to yourself, maybe?
Well, they say an actor should change the particles in a room. That's actually what a number of like casting directors and directors have said when you interview them, that a performance is excellent when like the particles in the room change and energy changes in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm totally all about that stuff.
Right?
Totally. Well, you can. When we did the casting process for the film, you felt certain people when they walked in, and you're just like, wow. You don't even care about the dialogue that they're doing from your film. They are just so present in the moment. They could spit out whatever, and they're just so that character. They're just creating stuff constantly. Like you said, they're just changing the particles. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so obviously when you were just kind of going and shooting the preliminary footage, it was out in LA, I take it.
Yes, all local here.
Were you promoting in China overseas? Am I crazy?
No, we didn't. Stuff? We didn't go that far.
Okay.
We were in talks with a few investors that knew some people in China, but it just didn't. That fire burnt out. So. Yeah, we stayed local. Oh,
that's great, though.
Yeah.
But you did shoot a film in China.
I did.
And that was the last race. So you're not totally crazy.
So I just had the films mix up. That's really what happened. So, nice segue.
There you go.
But yeah, the last race, you showed me some photos from that.
Yeah.
Man, so many extras in some of those scenes.
Yeah,
I was about to say, man, those Chinese can get extras. I didn't know if that sounded racist
Oh my
or not.
God.
No, does that sound bad?
can't say-
Well, they
We're
just have
live
a lot of
streaming
people
now.
over there.
I know, but
They
like,
have so many
can't
people.
edit
the
that out.
Chinese production team got so many extras.
Nicole's face is just like, nope. No.
I don't mean any ill will towards any type of race of people. Whatever. No, but like they got so many extras for those. I was surprised that you can. That must have cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the biggest movie I'd ever been a part of. It was very exciting. It's actually a dream project because it was overseas and it was a period piece. You know,
Right.
it takes place in 1937, and I always wanted to do like a World War II drama, and that's what it was. But the extras piece was incredible. It was literally a day of shooting that we had 2,000 extras.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of
What?
people on
Incredible.
set.
And I have a lot of
Crap.
pictures of it on my social media. You can check it out on there. It was a crazy day.
Because
Wow.
the amount of work that goes into that. You have 2,000 extras on camera, not to mention the ADs, the PAs, controlling them.
Crafty.
Crafty.
It was
so
cool. Like the day that they had it, they literally had this long table, and they literally had like 20 whatever you call those things, the megaphones, lined up so that
Oh,
each
wow.
like they can all take one and like kind of corral them like cattle. It was pretty
The
amazing. They were
coordination
prepared,
must
yeah.
have been incredible.
Yeah, it was wild. We had
like
like the
dogs
police there. It
helping
was a
to-
pretty big day.
Who was the
Wow.
production company? Did you recall?
It's Alibaba Pictures, and it's it was actually an American-Chinese co-production.
right.
So there's producers out here that I'm close with, and then Alibaba Pictures in China, and it was a Hong Kong crew as well. So yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I love that different cultures and from people from different countries coming together and putting together a production of that magnitude. Because can they see some of the pictures on your Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they can Google some of the pictures, I'm assuming, and get some.
Yeah,
pics.
there's some articles about, there's some stuff in Variety and all that about it, but my social has a bunch of the photos from actually like on set, the nitty gritty of it, and but there are definitely some images on Google too.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
incredible!
Yeah, it was
incredible.
amazing.
When does it come out?
So probably here, and I'd say probably August, and then in mainland China, it's going to come out first in May, and yeah, it was incredible. I mean, the story itself, I mean, is really, I've never really gone, this is kind of the first time I've gone really in depth about the storyline, but basically what it is, it's the unofficial sequel to Chariots of Fire, and it's the story about Eric Liddell, who Joseph Fiennes plays, and what happens to him after Eric Liddell, who's a real life, was a real man. He won the Olympic gold medal, and then what he did after that was he became a missionary in China, and then the Japanese invaded China just before World War II started, before Pearl Harbor, and they put a lot of Americans and foreigners in internment camps, and that was kind of our story and what happened to us in the internment camp. And before that, it's incredible. Yeah, it was heavy stuff, but it was amazing. I learned a lot from this movie.
How long was the shoot?
I was there for about 2.5 months.
Nice.
Beijing, all over China, Tianjin. It was pretty incredible. Yeah. But like you said, it was really, watching these, a whole different culture coming together to make a movie. It just kind of shows you how broad filmmaking is and how much
Yes.
everyone loves to make movies, no matter where you are, how much they love storytelling.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been delving into a couple of genres, I guess you could say. I don't know if genre is the correct word, but Indian, like Bollywood films.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The action sequences in these films are redonkulous.
Oh yeah. they make more movies than anywhere in the world. Like I think it's here in the United States, we make 300 movies a year. I think over there it's like 700.
Oh my god.
A year.
I'm gonna post on our Facebook page or somewhere on our Facebook page. I'll post it. A clip from a Bollywood film that I was watching in Dubai. The action sequence. Oh my gosh! It looks like
is it
Dragon
the guy
Ball
with
Z.
the balls where he turns into like the. Never mind.
No. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like if anime was a movie.
Mhm.
That's the only way to describe it.
What I don't understand is why there's so many movies coming out of Bollywood, and Bollywood does not do things like, there's a lot of countries that do things a little bit more on the cheaper side of production than what we do because we spend so much money on film. But, why do you think those films don't translate outside of,
What
Bollywood? Yeah, because you'd think, with the big budgets, the craziness, is it just not, is it just the stories that we don't, as the public?
I don't think it's necessarily the stories. I think it's more of how they're being shot and the cultural nuances and things that they
Yeah.
incorporate
Yeah.
into them. Because if you watch a Bollywood film, there's a lot of cultural things that I kind of have an idea of, but I'm like, I don't understand it. Same thing with like Japanese comedy. This group that I love watching, Downtown, they have certain nuances that are similar to Syrian and Arabic nuances in the way that they shoot their shows, and it's so funny because they're like totally different cultures, but there's like certain similar things. So, yeah, I think it's cultural and sociological things that play an effect on it.
Just curious.
Are you writing a paper?
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to touch upon something before about the movie that I produced. Was I love telling people like how important it is to just go and do stuff. You know, you're all about that. It's one of the things I love about you, Sam.
Oh man, thank you.
Yes,
God.
it's just so important to just like when you have an idea, when you want to do something, especially in this town, things don't just fall in your lap.
Right.
Yeah, maybe once in blue moon you meet someone on the sidewalk or something, but you really just have to go and do it. It's just about doing it, like literally go and achieving what you want. And there's, don't like our movie. Everyone literally told us we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do that, and we just literally like gave them the finger and said, yes, we're going to do this, and we did it, and it was incredible. We give them a very lovely finger.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
My question is, how does a person, and maybe you can answer this or you can't, or maybe you have an idea, where's the fine line of, no, we can do this, I know what I have is a good idea, I'm confident in what we have, versus blind, nope, it's good, and it's not a good idea. How can someone be aware of that?
When you mean, sorry, can you elaborate on that when you say it's...
So, what you were saying right now is people were telling you, no, you can't do it.
Right.
But in the back of your mind, you're going, no, we have a good product here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it being done before, or trust us. I believe in this product. Versus somebody who is not wanting who is saying the same thing to people, like, no, I have a good product here, I believe in it, and it's not. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like everyone who makes a project, they always are going to love what they do. It's the end result of what comes out of it. I mean, let's see what you put together in the end. Did it work or did it not? Is it working while you're doing it or is it not? We were shooting and showing people what we had along the way, and people were just falling in love with it. So we knew what we were doing was working. And once the train started moving, people just wanted to come on board. That's when things really started taking off.
Tell me about that, yeah.
Yeah, literally once the train was moving, people were like, wait, hold on a second. We want to be a part of this. But they didn't want to be a part of it when we didn't start.
Right.
But once we started, people were like, oh, hold on a second. Wait, don't go.
So true.
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Yeah.
It's kind of like people will say no, and then they actually start seeing a product, and they're like, well, wait, because everybody in this town at the end of the day wants to be part of something.
Yeah.
And it's just getting things moving forward that there are a number of people that will actually make sure that it starts.
Right.
And those people are typically like, yeah.
And the thing too, like what sets you apart is that are you part of the group of people that actually are getting things done and making things happen no matter what, or are you part of the ones that says you're going to do it but you're not really going to do it, or you don't end up doing it? That's what sets people apart.
This town is full of those. Full of them.
Hopefully, the next time we record, I'm able to share some good news with everybody and some awesome lessons that I've learned from some experiences that I had recently. The last 2 months have been extremely tolling, in a sense, where I know I was putting out good work, and there wasn't anything, not just good work, excuse me, and I'm not saying it to be like, oh, I'm putting out, no, I truly am confident it is exceptional work, and there was just nothing. And I know that's part of the business, but it was really tough, and I think you hit it on the head when you said, keep going. If you're doing exceptional things, if you know you're doing exceptional work, then keep going. Just keep going, keep driving through. Yeah, man. This is just the nature of the industry, and you learn, and even better than when you get something from it, it's learning about yourself and being proud that, I stuck with it. And I learned, and I became a better person from it. I became stronger. I think that's I don't know. I think that's really important.
That totally makes sense. I mean, what you're saying, even if you don't, like, let's say you're putting out stuff for so long, no matter what, you have to be able to have the perspective that you're learning something from it at the same time. So you're only getting better and better and better. So once that certain project comes along, you're just going to be, perfect for it, or you're going to be able to handle it so much better than you did 2 months earlier. You know, there's always something you're learning from whatever it is you're doing, whether it's auditions or working or writing, whatever. You know, so I totally agree with you.
Steve the Intern.
Yes.
We had
So
a
much
blast
fun.
working on that.
We fell in love, I think, on Steve the Intern. Yeah.
Whoa. Speak for yourself. No, I'm kidding. No, it was a blast. We had a good time, and it's just fun working on a project like that that's brand new. Nobody else is doing something like that, and there's a challenge to it. What do you see? How could you explain the show for people who haven't seen it before?
Well, we sat on a table read. We're over at what was it in the Valley? I forgot where it was. The Television Academy, and we had a table reading of the first 4 episodes, and they kind of kept it a secret about what exactly we were doing. I know that it was a live show, and I was like, oh, they're going to be shooting on camera somehow, putting it live, and I didn't really realize it was on Periscope, which I had been using, which I loved. And then once they explained that in the process of what they were doing, I said, holy shit, this is brilliant. Nobody is doing this. Yeah. And I turned to one of the producers and I said, you've got something here. And so we basically choreographed before we would get to set. We would choreograph, and the day before we would choreograph what we were going to be doing the next day. And because the way we did it, we ended up shooting it 5 days, and an episode a day. And I mean, it was amazing. It was so different. It was kind of like live theater, and it was so fun. Be able to play, and it was very much like a theater experience. You have one shot to do this, and you got to roll with it. And it was a very fun experience. It really was. It was very different than anything I'd done.
The space we had also lended itself to utilizing the...
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It was just so much. It was so big. Everything. It was at an advertising firm.
I was going to say, where did you shoot it? Because I've watched the episodes. Was it Google?
It was like Google. They had swings inside this place. I mean, they had little putting ring. I mean, it was incredible.
Were there people working there that weren't part of the show? Okay. I've seen a couple moments where I'm just like, is they? Because there would be moments where someone would be featured, but you wouldn't actually engage with them. And I'm like, are they?
And I think because they were in some sort of advertising, they were like, what are you guys doing? And we told them, and they were like, that's awesome. Yeah. Great. And we're like, we're sorry for being too loud. They're like, no, you guys do your thing. It's fine.
You were filming while other companies were still going about their business?
That's why we shot it so early.
Oh, that's so weird.
It's so bizarre.
But they were kind of used to it because I think Silicon Valley shot there, right?
Yeah.
A few weeks before. So they were kind of used to companies kind of coming in and working, and they were cool though.
But when you have your office, with different types of companies and an open floor plan, you should expect not a lot of privacy and some noise. Yeah.
It wasn't cubicles; it was open. But I think they purposely did it that way because I think it creates more of a fun environment to be in. I think, right?
I don't know. I've never worked in those kind of environments. I wouldn't like that, honestly. Right. I tend to work. I'd like just to be closed off.
But they did have, which I loved, was the treadmill workstation, which I want in my house. It was literally, they had a treadmill that you could walk on, and then a workstation, so you could literally run or walk and actually get your work done. It was incredible.
That's awesome.
I want one.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. How can you do that, man?
Oh, it's incredible.
Weird.
So productive, right?
Can you show us how you would do that?
Yeah, it was it's kind of like you're working and you're running. And there's actually a video of it.
What kind of keyboard is that, sir?
It moves, yeah. There's a video of it on my Instagram. It's on there somewhere.
That's right. Yeah. I remember seeing it.
I kind of want to see someone's like, oh, come read this email, and that's just 2 people. They're like, oh yeah, this is great. Just sitting at the desk having a nice walk.
One of the other things about Steve the Intern was actually Steven Ellison, who pretty much helmed the whole thing. What he did for that was incredible. I mean, he wrote it, he produced it, he was acting in it, he was holding the camera, he was interacting with the audience. I mean, he had so many hats that he had to wear. And, he kind of was helping push everything and driving everything forward. It was really amazing, what he had done. And, it was fun to be a part of that. Every day I left the set, with you guys. And I was just kind of like, wow, we're really doing something. We're like the pioneers of the new digital age, doing this show that's really never been done before. And interacting.
I learned a lot, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't... it wasn't the perfect show. There were some mistakes. I don't see it like that. It's more we're gonna build upon what we had last time and add on to it and clean it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we had this rough diamond, and now we're polishing it. We're cutting it a little bit more and more with every season and every time we shoot. There's some really cool stuff coming up ahead. Yes. Got it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're going to actually talk about the first time we were in class, and we realized we had a class together.
was amazing.
It was amazing. All right.
So anticlimactic.
Shut up, Jordan!
Oh my god.
It's
And we are
live
back.
streaming and I was answering a question. I didn't know we were coming
Good
back.
question, Wee Sam.
Yeah, we are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Streaming of the live.
And what's the website again, Mr. Jordan?
Streamup.com. Search us, Actors Anonymous Podcast.
Yeah, it's great. You can watch us live on Saturday mornings, which you're probably doing right now.
We're
which
like
is
cartoons.
amazing.
Yeah.
We're cartoons for actors. I truly believe.
Spilled hot coffee.
Good. We'll get more viewers that way. Here.
I feel like we should make. Can we make a non-profit? It's just cartoons for actors.
I was gonna say a nonprofit like spilling coffee on you
Oh.
to get viewership up. Is that possible?
This is really like a podcast radio station, yeah.
Yeah, it's great for radio.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
I'm not
one of my favorite things about you is we realized that we were in the same Margie Haber auditioning class.
Yes, love Margie Haber.
This was like years ago,
Oh yeah.
before we even worked on Steve the Intern
Totally.
together.
I remember you crying your eyes out in class. I
What?
think. But it was brilliant.
No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I think so.
No.
No.
It was a
amazing.
cold reading class.
You were
No,
crying.
man, you were intense. It was amazing. Yeah. You were there.
I don't remember it. I just remember you with your slick back hair.
Yes.
And you had a beanie or a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn,
Always
that
wore that
guy's
thing.
hair is good.
Oh my god. I remember Margie would always ask me to take the damn beanie off.
Yeah.
Like, stop hiding your hair. And I'm wearing a hat now, but
She's like,
here, just
damn
there's
it,
the hair,
Jesse!
Yeah. But yeah, those were Margie was fantastic, and it was funny that you and I, from years ago, and we're like, yeah, we did something together, or we worked together, or something. But
It's so crazy.
yeah, a small
Did you get
town.
taller since then?
Yes,
How tall are you?
6'2.5", I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Come on,
I've got
man.
heels on.
You have heels
It's a good
on?
I have
height.
heels on.
It's
He
a good
puts
height.
heels on.
I wish
On
I-
top of 6'2".
Jim Clock was tall too. He was like
Yeah.
6'7".
Jim Clock. Love that last name. Is that what it is? Clock?
Yeah, it's a good fighting
It's
height.
amazing. Good fighting.
6'7".
He's not 6'7".
Oh, he's not. That's what I asked you.
6'7".
I'd say he's like 6. I think he's 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
6'7" is a good fighting height. If I was 6'7", I'd be a UFC fighter for sure.
6'7" is massive.
You can't
Yeah.
even
Who
get
is
through doors.
6'7"?
Oh,
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Wow.
Actually, when they shot Gladiator, the Russell Crowe movie, they only wanted people who were 6'6" and higher to be in the film.
makes sense.
Yeah.
6'7" is a
That's
great
like
fighting height.
What's his face? The mountain on
It's
Game
a
of
great-
Thrones.
Yeah.
I keep saying that, and I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Because 6'7", I'm what?
It's a great
5'7"?
fighting height.
Yeah. It's a foot. It's a foot higher. That's like pretty. That's pretty substantial.
That's it. Like, what does the world look like? You know what
Amazing.
I mean? Like, it is a different perspective.
I stood up to like 6 feet the other day because I was on a small stepladder. I was like, oh, son of a gun. This is amazing.
Right?
Fun.
How do you not have confidence being that height?
My brothers are 6'1" and 6'2".
What?
Younger brothers.
What? Really?
How tall are you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I-
5'7".
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Shut up. Shut up, Cheryl. Cheryl's like, oh, okay.
I so just
Never
put
mind.
you on the spot.
Fun fact.
But now we understand your fixation with height. This is not the first episode we've talked about height.
Oh my gosh. No, it's so funny. My dad's like, why are you not tall like me or your brothers? I'm like,
How do you answer
He's
that?
like,
Thank you, Dad.
you're like your mother's brothers. They're all short. That whole family is short. Dad, what are you talking about?
you
Like
for
I have no
confidence, Dad.
control over
No,
this.
you're an actor. It works in your favor.
Actually, it has worked in my favor for
Right?
being this height with all like the younger stuff I've done.
Throwing it out there. How tall do you think the tallest man alive is? Fun fact.
Yeah, isn't he?
Because-
He's 8'10", isn't he?
He 8'3".
8'3".
But like, can you imagine fucking being 8'3"? Like this ceiling has got to be like what, 9 feet?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know height.
Well,
What is
back
this, a foot?
the acting podcast, Actors Anonymous. Have you always taken classes in LA though?
Yeah, I mean, I did off Broadway actually for a few months, which was awesome. We did a play out here called The Columbine Project, and it was written and directed by Paul Storiel, and it got picked up to go to New York, and we took it out there, and that was an incredible experience to do off Broadway in New York. That was amazing. So anyway,
Right.
I learned a bit from over there as well. That was when I was like 17, 18, and then but yeah, mostly classes out here. And my acting coach is Michael Wilson. Yes, I'm going to say it. I'm an actor, and I have an acting coach.
Yeah, why not?
Some people don't like to
Why?
say that, and I think it doesn't matter because you're going to be on the screen and people are going to love what you do. You're the one up there doing it. Yeah, Michael Wilson, he's fantastic. And
what other actor is going to go, listen to this jerk off, he's got an acting coach.
Dude,
like,
you'd be surprised.
Oh, he's getting
Seriously.
better at his craft, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah, I've heard stories. Yeah, people don't like to, mention it or whatever, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, great, yeah.
I don't know. Well, what kind of, does he have a system, or does he have a way he coaches that you like specifically that you could talk about?
Well, the best way he has a book. He has 2 books. One is Emotion on Demand, and the other one is The Work of an Actor. Again, Michael Wilson. And I would definitely pick those up for any actors who, want to learn something different. It's pretty amazing. And the Emotion on Demand actually dives into, how you can basically create triggers for yourself for, when you're on set and you need to be, you have an emotional scene coming up. How do you get there? What can you use for yourself? How can you kind of create from your own and use what the circumstances are on the scene? I would check those out.
So is it a bit? It sounds like a bit of sense memory that he goes into.
Yeah, he tries to, he doesn't really want you to use that one thing. Like I don't really like to just use one thing because then all of a sudden I'm thinking about that versus what's really happening in the scene. It's a bit of like using that as a spark and then bringing in what's happening within the circumstances that you're in as well.
I would love to have him on the show. Talk about that. Michael Wilson, right?
He's a really, really busy guy, but yes, I would definitely try it. Yes,
we'll see how busy he is.
He's a great man. He's a great man.
No, we always love having like different acting coaches, acting teachers on the show. It just extra tools for you as an actor to put underneath your belt and to choose which ones to use at which times. I think is great. What oh my gosh, I don't know what is wrong with my throat.
I'm from LA.
You're from LA.
Oh.
I'm dying over here, guys.
So, can I jump in?
Yeah, please.
You're right.
If I'm
you
dying,
have water?
please.
Take a sip.
The show's going to go on, Sam, whether you're dead or alive.
He'll figure that out. Keep going.
Jesse, what got you into acting? Like, how did this kind of all start?
Awesome question. It's funny enough, my dad's an actor. His name's Martin Kove. He's been in over 100 movies. He was the sensei in the original Karate Kid movies. So I grew up in the industry. I was on a movie set when I was like 6 months old, and I don't remember that one, but so I was able to, like, movie sets were always kind of like my second home. My dad, I was fortunate enough to travel with him when he would go and do films, and one of the best experiences I had was when he did a movie in India. Funny enough, and got to see India and being on a movie set with him. It was really an incredible experience. So being around that so much, and then I would make little movies as a kid with like my toy soldiers and a camera, and use my mouth as like sound effects, like all that stuff. So I always loved it. My dad would always show me classic movies, and he would always kind of teach me like, this is how this was done. And so it just kind of, I fell in love with it, and I have such a passion for it. I think it all stems from that.
I love that.
Your heart. What are some of the biggest things you've had to struggle with as an actor? Because a lot of people might hear that and say, oh, he's probably had an easy ride through this whole thing since his family's in the industry. And it's like, no, I don't think that's the truth.
Right. Yeah. My dad, he actually never pushed me to be in the industry. He didn't want me to actually be in the industry because can be such a struggle. And, about high school, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this professionally. And, my dad would help me out along the way when he could, or introduce me to certain people. So, yeah, I definitely, just wasn't a free ride, and my dad didn't want it to be that way. And, it is a struggle, totally. And some of the struggles I've come across would be harnessing the craft, continuing to learn more. And I think it's, something which I think everyone can take away from. Bryan Cranston said something in an article that I loved. He said when he was 25 years old, his dream was not to like win an Oscar, do all that stuff. Yeah, that's all like gravy. But his dream was to just be a working actor. And since 25, he's just been an actor who's working all the time, and he's able to like pay his bills and do all that stuff and live a great life just from acting. And I think that's amazing too. Just to train yourself to be in these roles and just to work at it. And eventually, if you work hard enough, you can be a master of it, and then you get paid for it and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster. It goes up and down, and I try to be as productive as I can. Like making these projects. And you just always constantly have to be doing stuff. And I've met so many, very successful people where it's A-list. They do the same thing. They're just continuously always creating things. It's just part of what you have to do.
We say that on the show
all the time.
thousands and thousands of times, it feels like. But what else do you have to do as an actor? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, as a creative, are you just going to sit at home? I love watching Netflix, by the way. But you can't just sit there. Oh, yeah. House of Cards is up.
Okay,
that's gonna be my Sunday.
I'm 2 seasons behind. It's awful.
I've been filling in on Fuller House.
How is that? Okay, because
I've been filling in Fuller House, by the way.
How is it?
Just because you go from House of Cards, which
Sure,
is like
sure,
yes, and then Fuller House, it's kind of like all right.
Well, they got picked up for I think another
man,
season. Yeah,
after like 5 days on Netflix.
It's a style. It's definitely a genre style.
It's weird.
It's
though.
cute.
It feels
It's
like
cute.
I watched one episode and I felt like literally these people were like in cryo freeze and just came out and just acted the same way.
I want to
like,
watch
it's
it. I
just
haven't seen it
exactly
yet.
the same as the 90s. Like,
well,
and not in a bad way. It's just very oddly nostalgic, but also like I feel like it's like a lot of applause in the first episode too. I think the whole episode is
like
to
everybody's coming.
people
You're not alone in that review. And actually, John Stamos was on Seth Meyers' Late Night, going through all of the reviews and just kind of giving a one-off to anyone who said a negative thing. But anyways, so as
no, go.
Well, I was gonna say as a creative, well, we're home.
What were we gonna say?
Yeah, just like just continuing being creative and all that stuff. In the off time, I love. There's always these stories of like people being afraid to do stuff. Even myself, one time when we were making As Night Comes, I actually we know a studio executive and I was afraid to call him, and I hadn't talked to him in a few years, and I was literally just afraid I wanted him to see the movie, and this is a big time guy, and I was afraid to call. And so I ended up just saying, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to fucking do it. I have nothing to lose. I'm going to do it. And then I called up the office and got the assistant, told her who I was. And then she said, okay, please hold. Studio executive answers the phone and he's like, hey man, long time. How you been? And I was just like, oh wow. Like I just did it and it happened. There's so much of that you have to overcome. The fear, And
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Go ahead. No, it's just true, but it's all about just following through with what you want to do and just finishing it, and it's okay. When the fear comes in, you just have to smack it in the face and let it go away, and then you just continue doing what you're doing, and just kind of you talked about what do we do in our spare time, just making things happen and following through with what you want to do, and don't worry about any of that stuff. If you have good content that you're creating, people are going to want it.
Yeah, and I think to keep that in check and keep your awareness in check, because it's so critical. Because again, I've seen people who are like, no, this is good, and I'm like, I don't think this is good.
Well, share it with people. Yeah, totally.
Maybe you can improve here, but be open, be receptive to some form of criticism. I think might help to kind of question okay, why is this part here, or this kind of thing, because everyone wants to put out good quality. That's not even a question. It's just how in tune our senses can be about what is good quality.
Sure. Yeah. The director of As Night Comes, Richard Zelniker, he was perfect because when he was directing and when we were in post-production, when certain people would have ideas, he wouldn't kind of shun them away. He would say, okay, does that idea serve the story? Mm. And if it does, he's like, great, I don't care who you are. If that idea will serve my story and my vision, I'm going to take it and use it, because it's only going to make my movie better. Yeah. So, I think that's an important piece too. Like you said, being open-minded, letting other people give you ideas, and if it serves the overall purpose of what you're doing and the story of whatever you're trying to create, then take it, use it. It's free.
Absolutely.
I have a question I'd like to pose to everybody, actually, which is, because you have your YouTube channel, you guys are both on Periscope. What's your thought on social media involved in your career? Because it's definitely affected the acting community in a sense, I feel, on a level of being capable of doing more on your own. But also, do you feel like social media whether it's lack thereof, or whether it's building your profile and everything, do you think that's better for Twitter followers and all that kind of stuff? How does that feel like it plays a role in your job? Positive or negative?
I'll toss that to our guest.
Oh, okay, great. I'll keep this kind of short. So, I think I think it's a double-edged sword, right? There's a positive, there's a negatives, right? I don't like that people's faces are in their phones 24/7, which I'm guilty of that as well. I do love that people can build their own platforms completely on their own and create something from nothing, because in the end, it's really what the fans like, what the people like, and if you are someone who just does it in your garage and all of a sudden you have 1 million followers from whatever you're doing something right. People like you, you're entertaining, and people will pick up on that. It's definitely changing, like we did the Periscope, but I think it's just different platforms for people to bridge from, and where they can go with it. There's also definitely the aspect of the communication aspect, where how people are communicating these days, less face-to-face, more digital, technical. I think if you can find a balance between all of that, you're golden.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I found something silly that I know it sounds weird, but just being verified on Twitter seems to I don't know, it's just a silly thing. They're like, oh, you're verified. Oh, what are you in? Oh, I'm in the show. Oh, wow, that's cool. All of a sudden there's interest that way.
You got a blue check mark.
Yeah.
I love interacting with the fans. And that's one of the biggest things, is because they're the support system for my career. Without them, I don't make money at all. That's the basic thing. And so showing that appreciation, responding to them, even liking a Twitter comment or, stuff like that, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it's hey, thank you for, definitely appreciate it, etc. And I know we try to do that as much as we can on the podcast, and I'm pretty sure we do it to every single person who responds to us. We respond back. I think that's one of the best. I'm pretty sure we do it. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's one of the biggest positive things for me. Negative, I think it's just finding that balance between putting your phone down and not responding to negative. And Periscope. Somebody the other day, I've already had to block 2 people. It's I'm just talking about hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody has an awesome morning. And then I love somebody's fuck you, bitch. It's why?
Wow.
Why? And so I'll ignore it, and then I'll let it slide a couple times, and then I'll be okay, this guy's just why?
Go.
Why?
But it is important, what you said, interacting with the fans. It's huge. It's never been so easy than it is now, and how beautiful that is to be able to talk to whoever. The Rock, he's huge on social media. I like him because he's so motivational. Yeah. He actually wants to help people achieve what he's achieved. But it's such a beautiful thing to be able to talk to your fans or be able to be mentioned or anything like that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you answer here in a little bit, but I decided to follow this guy's Twitter, just to kind of go through his Twitter account, just to see what kind of guy is this, who just comes on a random scope and just does this kind of stuff.
You're hilarious.
I'm not going to say what religious beliefs he holds, because I'm not going to open that Pandora's box. But he was posting all these pictures and all these religious things saying, do unto others as you would done unto you. Be kind, be nice to people. And I'm what? Who are you? Who are you? This is, it's comical.
Took a screenshot and just put it on his Twitter feed.
I'm wow, there, who knows, what kind of person you are, what kind of flavors come out of you. This is the acting side, how can I play you if I was in, anyway, what's it been like for you?
I'm sure you could, so I agree with everything that the 2 of you are saying. I think social media is a really incredible tool where we literally are able to reach out and actually touch people that we respect and admire in our industry, and the same with our fans. They're able to speak with us one-on-one. I don't think that we've ever really had that accessibility even 10 years ago.
Right.
If you wanted to reach out to someone and say, I really appreciate your work, you had to write a letter, you had to find an address, you had to put a stamp on it, and you had to mail it. And now it's kind of you could put a tweet out and, that actor, that director is going to see it. And then also in regards to career, I mean, I've built relationships off of Twitter. I mean, when I did that Ghostbusters video, it was because of social media that it got so much attention and landed me a huge meeting. It was because of that. I mean, I feel I don't know. I think the digital age that we're in, it's very it's great and it's necessary. Regarding where you are in your career.
Absolutely.
If you are literally handed the golden ticket where you can bypass all of that, be massive and have a voice and not have to do social media and not have to promote yourself on fill in the blank any one of those websites, you are really very, very lucky because you get to be incredibly private and not put your stuff out there. But when you're moving up the ranks and kind of, I feel like how we are, it's like you need to lend yourself to show a bit of who you are.
Yeah,
those are anomalies.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a huge important part to that, and the other thing too is like how much you can inspire people who are maybe not in the big cities or not in some place around the world that maybe they're not involved in this world, and they get to see stuff and they get inspired to maybe make their way out to accomplish their dreams, or whether it's in the entertainment industry or fashion or whatever it is, something creative or whatnot. But yeah, you can actually be a part of it. Like, some person's on their phone sitting somewhere and they get to see these incredible things, like, wow, like I'm going to go and do that.
Yeah.
They'll be able to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Totally important.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time.
Oh.
Yesy. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
You guys are great. This was so much fun.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors.
Thank you.
And
You're never going to see
I'm
him again.
we're never gonna-
You mean like the one you and I are doing together?
Exactly. We are very excited once we get this thing up and running. It's a pretty...
So it's all about no.
No, my gosh, I was about to jump over this table. No, it's one of the most unique ideas, and it's a bold statement. I understand that, but one of the most unique ideas I think we've ever heard of.
Yeah,
And,
it's pretty awesome.
I'm really excited to share it with you guys once it's up and running.
Nice.
Jesse, where can people find you on social media?
My Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I haven't jumped on the Snapchat yet. I don't think I have time to do all of them.
No worries.
Yeah, it's at Jesse Kove at all of them. JesseKove. And I want to shout out to my darling love, Carrie, who I love.
Carrie.
Yeah,
Carrie's awesome.
she is awesome.
Carrie, if you're listening to this, you're awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, she's incredible.
Hashtag Carrie is awesome.
my-
Hashtag Carrie is awesome.
Yeah, you can find her too at Carrie Kasem, her Twitter and everything. She has check out her foundation, Kasem Cares, as well. It's a lot of great stuff there. So
What is it?
KasemCares.com.
Kasem Cares. Definitely will check that out.
KASEMCARES. Yeah.
Before you go, if there's one piece of advice you can give to the struggling artist, what would it be?
Love to work, and yeah, it's okay to work. Love to work. It's good. It's so important. Your results will only come from the amount of work you put into it. Yeah.
Love
Say
it.
it again.
Just ate those words.
Uh,
They taste great.
Cheryl,
We Sam.
thanks for joining me.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
We still need to have that
That was
coffee
so
meeting.
fun. All right.
Hopefully next week frees up for me.
Plan a date.
Let's
Figure
schedule this
out.
on
Everyone,
air.
hold on one sec.
If people want to find you on the interweb,
Cheryl Texera.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
It's always awkward.
love it, love
There's
it.
always a moment.
There's always a moment. Big J,
No.
Big J,
No.
Jordan Burbank. Thanks for everything you do.
I love you too.
I didn't
Did
say
you-
that.
you didn't say that. Damn it. I just saw your lips move. I just thought you...
Are you still at
in
Jordan
trance.
Burbank 7?
Yeah. Great.
Nikki,
Yes, I am.
thanks for doing all that you do, and congrats on your recent True TV guest spot, girl. You working it. She
Awesome.
working it. She working it.
Yes.
We get represented by the Stame Management Group, Stagecoach Entertainment. Big shout out. James Jolie was on the show. Oh my gosh, I just almost blanked out on his last name. My bad, James. Steve Smith and April Baker. They are awesome, awesome team over there. Check them out. They've I think they have a Facebook. Yeah, they have a Facebook. You were just on it.
Europe.
Girl, Nikki592 is your social, right? Awesome. Big thanks to Gabe at gvbstudios.com. Thanks for everything you guys do here for us. We really appreciate it. And you can find us at actorsanonymouspodcast.com, our Twitter handle at podcastaa, my Twitter handle at wesamquiche, wesamquiche.com.
Now we're on live stream. No, stream up. Stupid. Fail. What is wrong with me?
I was about to... You can go
Oh.
on our Twitter, and you can find the link to stream up our account and watch us live on Saturday mornings. As an actor, you should definitely watch us Saturday mornings. You're probably laying in bed, and what's better than waking up to the face and sound of Wee Sam Quiche? Nothing. Just ask any of the ladies. Boom! Just kidding, Mom. I've never been on a date or kissed a girl.
What is happening?
I don't know. It's
He's gone rogue.
I'm just making Jesse cry. That's all. I love it. Thank you to our listeners. Seriously, we really appreciate everything you do. Oh my gosh, it's my show. I'll talk
Nicole's
if I
cutting
want
you
to.
off.
Nicole.
Like, No more drinks.
She's like going, well, this guy talking on his podcast. No, love you guys. Seriously, thanks to everybody in this room. Thanks to everybody who listens. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk.